This is how you start a marijuana business. All right. So the first page is about priority status. So Legal Greens is an economic empowerment applicant. That's how we were able to get our priority status. The other priority statuses that you could get is social equity, and then to be certified with the state as a minority, a woman, or a veteran-owned business. That's a website that you do within Massachusetts. It's separate from the Cannabis Control Commission. But once you are certified with Massachusetts, then you can use that certification to go to the Cannabis Control Commission to get priority status. The first thing about opening a marijuana business is first property. You have to find a municipality, which means a city or a state that is allowing the sale of cannabis. And once you locate the city or the state that allows that, you would then have to locate their cannabis rules to find out which location they allow it in, because certain places want it in certain cities and towns want it in certain locations, like business in Brocton themselves, they wanted it only in the downtown district and commercial too. And they have a bunch of other different commercials within Brocton, commercial 3, 4, 5. So it's just more so figuring out which zoning part that they want it in. And then from there, you can figure out the locations that are available to your liking to then ask if you can open up a marijuana business at that location from the property owner. The next step is I just mostly broke down the different stages in the cannabis control application. There is the economic empowerment application where you would have to I was an economic empowerment. So with that, they strictly opened the application 2 weeks before the regulations came out with the state. So I was able to apply and get economic empowerment. They have social equity, which right now is closed, but they usually open it for a certain amount of period and then they'll close it again and then open it. So just be aware and stay focused in looking on the website to see when they're going to open it and when they're going to close it. The next step is when you submit your application to the CCC, the Mass Portal is the actual place where you will fill out the application. The next is once you submit your application, and if you're missing information, they will reopen it and send you an email asking for the information that they're missing. And then once you complete all of that, they'll send you an email again saying that your application is deemed completed. And then once you pay for the provisional license, you'll get a provisional license. Then I'm going to break down the steps to get to final license and then to get to commencement, which means that you're open and operating. These are the documents that you're going to need for both the city and the municipality to get the application started. Majority of this information is in the CCC's regulations where they break down what they want and where they want it. And it's just more so you pulling out the information to then apply it to your business strategy. And then the second to first one, the separating recreational to medical. If you aren't doing if you are not an operating medical facility and then trying to go to a recreational facility, this does not matter to you. And if you are a medical going to recreational, it does matter to you. But if you are just strictly going recreational, it does not matter to you. That's something that, as it says, if applicable. If not, then they don't require that information. And then the next step is how to get municipal approval, which just means the municipality is just the city or town. So you have to go to either the mayor, the city councilor, or the cannabis board, depending on the municipality. In Brocton, they don't have a cannabis board, they just have a mayor. In Boston, they have a cannabis board. Most towns are town mayors, so you would have to go to that town mayor. You would have to give them your application with all this information on it, with your location, stating that you want to open a marijuana business. Once they approve you, you'll get a host agreement, which is a contract And then you'll need that one pager that the CCC provides you, which is going to be part of the application as well. And then once you get the host agreement, I would say you should do a community outreach within the time that you're doing the application, because it's only valid for 6 months. And after that, you're going to have to do it again. Once you have decided that you want to do a community outreach, you have the location, you have to send a letter to everyone that is 300 feet away from the actual location that you want to open the business at. And then you have to send a letter to the clerk's office just for them to stamp, to just know that the verification for you, the city, and for the state to know that everyone is on the same page about your community outreach. Once you're done with that, you have to get zoning board approval, which is a special permit that allows you to, that gives you that city approval. The zoning board they only meet once a month, and you have to have architect and engineering plans to then submit to be put on the agenda for the zoning board. Hold on, I just want to see, I think there is someone trying to. No, okay. Oops. Okay, so the next step is, once your application is deemed completed, there's next steps that you have to do. There's a background check, which is basically a fingerprinting. It's like a facility that does your fingerprints to do a full background check on you. The CCC will send a letter to the city asking them, or the municipality asking them, if you actually do have a special permit, and if you are in zoning compliance, just for the state and the city to know that everyone's on the same page. Once all of those are completed, I would say every month check 2 days before that their meeting, because they'll post the agenda. And just so it takes 3 months, just FYI, it takes 3 months for you to be on the agenda after you complete your application. Check monthly just to make sure, but within 3 months you should be on the agenda. If not, I will contact them to ask them what is taking so long with you being on not being on the agenda. The next step is after receiving a provisional license, you need to send in the architectural review. And that's a letter that, once you get the provisional license, they'll give you an information about the architectural review. And that's just submitting special permits, building permits, a plan for security. It's actually a layout of your building that designates where all the cameras are going to be, where the fire alarms are going to be, where the panic alarms are going to be. And then the architectural plans, if you're doing work outside, you have to show that as well. And we had to redo outside, so we had to give them an architectural plan. Once your architectural plans are completed, then that means that you can start doing construction within the building. Once you are done with construction, again, in the provisional license, they'll give you, once you are deemed completed by your architectural plans, they will send you an information on what to do next when it comes to getting an actual inspection from the state. When we did our inspection, it was during COVID, so it was a phone inspection. But we just had an actual inspection, and that was a physical inspection. So it can be both. Documents needed for inspections. You're going to have to show them that you are compliant with insurance, that you have building permits, that you have an occupancy letter from the city, which just means that they inspected the building and everything is on point as what it needs to be. The floor plan, what employees' roles are going to be, what their limited access is going to be, your diversity plan, the impact plan, standard operating procedures on the day-to-day operations within the facility, what employees, as in bud tenders, do, receptionists do, managers, inventory personnel, their day-to-day, from beginning to end, what they're supposed to do. And then the camera footage has to have no blind spots, absolutely no blind spots. Finally, this is the last to second step. Once you complete your provisional license and you do all of the inspections and stuff, again, you will be put on the agenda. I would say check the agenda every month to see when you're going to be on the agenda for a final license. Once you receive that, then you can request another inspection, but only when all of these are done. So you have to do the 2-hour workshop with metrics. You have to have the POS system, as in LeafLogix. There's Indica, there's Mary Jane. You just have to have a POS system that connects with metrics. You have to have employees filed into metrics as well. Then that's when you can have products into the building that are delivered from a licensed vendor. And again, the CCC can see the products that you have in the building. And then after that, you can file for your final inspection. Once you file for your final inspection, again, you're not going to be on the agenda. They're going to send you an email stating that you could be in operations. And once you get that email, then that means that you are allowed to sell marijuana within Massachusetts, only in Massachusetts. These are the this is a breakdown of the fees that we had to do. It's different from everyone else if you're not a social equity or economic empowerment applicant, because our application was actually free. And then once our application was deemed completed and we had to pay for the background check, that's where that $1,500 came from. And then to get our actual provisional license, we had to pay $5,000. And then after that, everything is no fees. But for renewal, it is $5,000 every time we have to renew our license every year. And then this is just a breakdown of Legal Greens itself and the times it took us to go through the process. Again, we're economic empowerment, so the timeline was faster. We got it in 2018. We received our host agreement in 2019. We got city approval, as in zoning, planning, and all that stuff in 2019. The application was from beginning to end. We started in 2019 and we were deemed completed, final license in 2020. We got our provisional in 2019. We got our final license in 2020, and then we were able to operate this year, actually. Well, this month, 2 years ago, March 28th. And then this is just the things that we do that we feel are important within our brand. Obviously, branding is huge. As you can see, we have Legal Green sweaters, Legal Green sweatpants. All of our products that are flour, we have them in our own bags. We do pre-rolls, we do grounded flour, everything in Legal Greens packaging. Customer service at our store is like one of the main things that we focus on, because the experience has to be there, because there's 8 other dispensaries in Brocton, and obviously customer service is huge, because that's why people come back. If they don't like it, they're not going to come back. And then products, we make sure that we have a really wide variety of products. And I'm a connoisseur. My business partners are connoisseurs. So we definitely indulge in the products. We see if it works, if it doesn't. And all of our employees as well are connoisseurs, and they smoke as well. And they will definitely tell the customers what they like, what they are okay, and just try to get the understanding of what the customer wants and from their experience of what they've tried. And that's it. For the person that just came in, I could go back and just do a little quick rundown, if that's okay with everyone. This page is just broken down of what priority status is. And once you get those priority statuses and you fill out your application with the state, your application gets bumped up from a medical to a priority status and then a regular person. So if I applied and two other people applied, one is a medical and one is not, just a regular applicant, the medical and my application becomes a priority. And once there is no more medical or priority status applicant, then they'll review a regular applicant. So that was really huge with us, because when we got our host agreement, there was four other people. No, there were six other people that got their 8 other people got their host agreements, and that was the max in the city, and they weren't going to open it again. And when a new mayor came in, that was a minority, he strictly opened it for social equity and economic empowerment applicants. So that's how I was able to get my application, my host agreement into the city with the into the state with the application. And with that, throughout the whole process, we were actually, and there was other people that that put their application into the state. And since we were able to get priority status, we were actually able to be one of the first people to open as a strictly recreational. So In Good Health opened, which was medical and recreational. And then Legal Greens was the next one to open. And then after that, all the other dispensaries funneled in. So priority status is huge when it comes to opening a marijuana business. And then this is just a breakdown of priority properties. You have to find a municipality that agrees with it. And then once you find that municipality that allows it, you have to go through the regulations to see where they want the marijuana establishments to be located. This is just a breakdown of the stages of the application. Equity, the application itself is a mass portal. If it gets reopened, you just have to give them the information, and they're really good about giving you what you're missing. Once your application is deemed completed, they'll send you an email. Provisional license, you'll get an email. Final license, you'll get an email, and then commencement, you'll get an email as well. This is just the information that you need for the city and the state to fill out the applications to get approved. The host agreement, you have to do the community outreach within 6 months. Zoning board approval, that's how you get your special permit. And then just a breakdown of what you need during the application status once you're deemed completed. $1,500 for the background check. You have to do fingerprint background check. The city will send a letter to the municipality asking them if you are in compliance with all their regulations. And then the meetings are posted every 2 days before the actual meeting. Just the stages of provisional licenses, what you need after you get architectural review. Things that you need to get an inspection, your first inspection. Your final license, this is what you need for your final license, 2 hours of the workshop from Metrics. POS systems employees have to be registered within Metrics. You can now allow to buy products from a vendor for it to be stored in the vault room, and then you could request your final license. And then you could sell marijuana. And that is it. Does anybody have questions?
I do. Are they, so for the economic empowerment, are they still doing that, or is that not anymore?
The economic empowerment, that was only for the 2 weeks before the regulations came out with the state. So they no longer open that one. But for, let me go back. But for this one, the social equity applicant, they open it, I would say, almost every year for a good amount of time, and then they'll close it, and then they do like social equity classes. So with every time that you are approved to be a social equity applicant, they do provide classes. So it's a recurring every year. And then the certifications, that's not from the state. You could just, if you have a business right now, or you register as a business, you can register your business within the state as a disadvantaged business, as a minority, woman, or veteran owned business. And that gives you priority where you don't have to get approval from the Cannabis Control Commission. Any other questions? No? Okay.